Can you believe it is already week 10? Oh my gosh. Week 10 of college football, only week 9 of the NFL at least. But oh, it feels like it's flown by. But oh man, it's been such a great season. So let's keep going. Welcome to The Hedge with Double D.
The Hedge with Double D.
As you can see, it's only me right now. I had Colin join me for the NFL, but this week for college football, I'm riding solo. It's been a busy week for everybody, so it's just going to be me. But in honor of week 10, we're going to have a big week. We're going to go through it quickly, but we're going to do our usual UT and Wisconsin game, and then I'm going to give you 10 other games. Woo. So that's at least 12 picks. I might even throw in a couple over-unders while we're at it. And let's get to it. So that's going to be a lot of picks for y'all to choose from. I wouldn't recommend going with all of them. I don't know. You do you. But, these are a lot of picks. So we'll see how we do. Again, listen this weekend. Look out for the short version on, everything on Facebook, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, everything that's got the shorter version of videos. Look out for that this weekend for my 5 official picks where I'll really pick the 5 that I like the most as opposed to this long form. But let's jump into it. As I said, every week we do UT, we do Wisconsin. This week, UT, UConn. I'm going to the game, so hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully UT kicks butt. I'm excited. UT is favored by 35 points, so it better be a blowout. UConn's really, really bad, and UT's pretty good. They're not, top tier, but they're good this year. They're not scoring near as much as last year. So I don't know. 35 seems like a lot of points. When it's this many points, I usually stay away from it in general. If anything, usually take the team that's getting 35 points to start the game. But so man, I don't know. UT's gonna blow them out, I think, and I don't think UConn's gonna score more than 7 points. But the over/under is 55.5. So that's really what I like more. Is I like the under 55.5. I think, I don't know, at most UT scores 48 points and then UConn scores a touchdown. 40. That's 55 right there. So I like under 55.5. And with that, man, I kind of like UT to cover this. I don't think UConn's gonna score much. But I don't know if unofficially we'll take UT minus 35.5. I think it's going to be I don't know. You know what? I'm going to take that back. I'm going to go UConn plus 35 just because I don't think UT scores more than 38 points. They could, but they just haven't been quite the high-powered offense this year. So I am, like I said, unofficially, I'm not super confident on that. Much more confident on under 55.5. All right, moving on to Wisconsin. Wisconsin is 9.5 point favorites on the road at Indiana. That's a lot of points for Wisconsin to get. They're not very good this year, but Indiana's much worse. Again, I'm looking at the over/under for this game. It's at 45.5, and that's too high for a Big Ten game like this. Maybe one team gets in the 20s, but I don't see both teams getting in the 20s. So I'm taking the under here. That's more of the official pick for this. Under 45.5. I hate to do it. The safe bet here would be taking Indiana with the points. Maybe buy it up to plus 10 to be safe, but I just don't see Wisconsin scoring a lot. Indiana had a good game last week. So I don't know. Once again, I like the under here, 45.5 more. I could see Wisconsin winning by 2 touchdowns though, so I'm gonna stay away from the actual spread there. All right, moving on. So let's jump to Ole Miss A&M. I think Ole Miss is a really good team. A&M's better than I thought they'd be this year. They're still not that good, but they've lost all the good teams they've played by at least 6 points. Especially on the road, they're not as good. So I like Ole Miss at home here, -3. This is one I might even sell a half point, maybe go up to 3.5, or maybe even jump it up to like 5.5, because I think Ole Miss is going to win by a touchdown here. So I'm going to take them at -3. Next, Notre Dame, Clemson. So we're going to keep moving on. Notre Dame is also -3 at Clemson. Clemson's just consistently not been good this year. Notre Dame's pretty good. If this was a neutral site, Notre Dame would be favored by a lot more. So maybe Clemson can have a little home field advantage here, but I don't know. It's not like it's at night or anything. So this one, even though it's -3, I like Notre Dame, but maybe this is where you buy it down to like -2.5 to be safe. Maybe just take Notre Dame on the money line if you're going to throw in a parlay. But I like Notre Dame. I'm going to buy it down to 2.5, Notre Dame. Okay. SEC still, but SEC kind of going against the I guess this would be the FBS, because I don't think this is a power, or I don't think this is even FCS. It might I don't know. I think this is FCS. I'm sorry. This might be like a Sun Belt team. But Jacksonville State. South Carolina is going against Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State is like 7-2. They actually have a good record, but obviously they're not playing a tough schedule. South Carolina does play a very hard schedule this year. I mean, even like opening with North Carolina. So they're -15.5, even though they've got a terrible record of like 2-6 or whatever. I like South Carolina to cover. I think if this game had been played earlier in the year, before South Carolina played that tough schedule, this would be a higher. So maybe buy it down to -13 to be safe, though. So I'm taking South Carolina -13. Staying in the SEC, Missouri, Georgia. This one's tough. Georgia -15.5. Missouri's good. Georgia's on this is where their schedule finally is getting tough. You know, they've got Missouri, Tennessee, Ole Miss. The Tennessee game's at Knoxville, so that will be tough. So maybe they kind of look ahead here. You got Tennessee, you got Ole Miss coming up. 15.5 is a lot. I think I like Missouri here. Not to win, but I think I'd buy a couple points, especially if I'm going to put this in a parlay. Straight up, I don't know if I'd take it, but maybe put it up to like 17, 18 and take Missouri plus, we'll say +17. Missouri +17. I still think Georgia wins, but I think it'll be a little bit closer. We've seen some closer games. And Georgia definitely has kind of hit their stride, and maybe they're kind of reaching into their playbook now that they're playing tougher teams. But I think Missouri proves that they're not, you know, that they're a good team this year. This hasn't been a fluke. All right, getting away from the SEC, Oklahoma State, the last, I don't know, maybe the last time we get the Bedlam matchup here. Because Oklahoma's moving conferences. So, I mean, I don't know. At least the last yearly matchup we'll get. So this is going to be exciting, fun game. Super high intensity, very emotional. The line started at Oklahoma -3.5, and I wish I jumped on it there. It's up to Oklahoma -6. That's such a huge line move. Which makes sense. I thought 3.5 seems so low. Oklahoma's a better team. Now it's the crazy rivalry. It's maybe the last, version of this. So, it's kind of like, who knows what's going to happen. That's why for me, I like Oklahoma -6, but what I like more is the over 61.5 points. That's what I really like. Over 61.5 points. And I'll take Oklahoma, maybe -5.5 just to be safe. But yeah, I really like the over 61.5 points. I think a lot of points are going to be scored here. Both teams get into the 30s, and it's going to be a shootout and a really fun game. Oh, speaking of shootouts and really fun games, Washington USC, over under for total points is 76.5. Woo, that's got to be like a record. I don't know. I'd have to look that up, but 76.5 is crazy. And when it's something that high, and when you get something super high or super low, I love to run with it because I feel like they're trying to like scare you away from it, basically. So I'm going to take the over 76.5. Someone's going to get into the 40s, maybe both of them. Similar to the Oklahoma State game, I see a shootout. Washington's the better team. They've got some injuries on the defense, which is also going to make for more points. So I'll also take Washington at -3. I hate that -3 number. It's such an annoying number. Maybe buy it down to -2.5 to be safe. But -3 and the over 76.5 for Washington. All right. Oh, our classic under. Let's go from a lot of points to a little points. Iowa Northwestern. Iowa's favored by 5, -5. I like that, but what I'm really looking at again is the under 30.5. Gosh, they're just like, I swear Iowa's just daring them to put it in the 20s. They've gone under, I think, 25 points. Like, I don't remember the exact stat, like 3 times in the last 4 weeks or something. So I'm gonna keep riding it. I'm gonna ride the Iowa under. It's a good trend. Northwestern's not gonna score a lot of points either. I'd have to look at the weather on this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna be bad weather at Northwestern. Kind of in that Chicago area. It's gonna be cold at the very least. It's gonna be cold. But maybe it's gonna be rainy. Let's see what we can find here. -5 though. I think I like Iowa -5. Okay, so it's going to be 48 degrees and just kind of cloudy. So not too much weather problems there. I think I'd probably just more take Iowa money line than -5 because I could see Iowa winning by a field goal or by 2 points. It could be a 12-10 game. So I'm going to stay away from that. Maybe Iowa money line and then under 30.5. Let's keep riding that under. It's such a terrible thing to cheer for, but I love that Big Ten under. All right. Kansas. This is one of I feel like we haven't taken a lot of the plus points here, a lot of underdogs, but we'll take Kansas here. Iowa State at home to Kansas is favored by 2.5. We'll take Kansas plus 2.5. Maybe buy it up to +3 to be safe, but Kansas is good. And I don't think Iowa State is as good as their record says. Kansas obviously just beat Oklahoma, so maybe they have a letdown game, a come down game. But Kansas is playing well against really everyone now. I mean, they played bad against Texas. They hadn't been playing well against the top tier teams, but they finally kind of broke through last week. So kind of let it ride with Kansas, plus 2.5. Maybe even take a money line. But I like Kansas here. All right, 2 more games. The night games here. LSU, Alabama, and Oregon State, Colorado. We'll start LSU, Alabama. Over under 61.5. That's so high for an LSU Alabama game. Remember when it used to be like 9-6? The good old days. No, I love what it is. LSU doesn't have much of a defense. Alabama doesn't. They've got a good defense, not a great offense, but LSU has one of the best offenses. They're fun to watch. I think I like the over there, 61.5. And I think I might as well take LSU here too. There's something off in Bama, something off in Bama. So I like LSU here to come in 2 years in a row, +3. So they don't even have to win, lose by a field goal or less. But what I like more is over 61.5. All right, last game. Oregon State -13 versus Colorado. The Colorado hype has seemed to kind of settle down. They've had a good season, and I kind of think, they've been exposed. Their line is just too small. Their quarterback now is just getting destroyed. So I'm going to take Oregon State -13. I think they cover that. And I want to take the points here. It's at over 62.5. But I think I'm just going to take with Oregon State -13. All right. If I had to, I'd take over 62.5. But I'm more confident about the -13 there. So Colorado has had a great season. It would be interesting to see what happens next if Deion stays and all that. But yeah, now that they're playing the better teams here, the bigger lines, they're getting kind of exposed. But they've done better than they thought, so it's been fun watching them. So I don't know why I'm like eulogizing Colorado. But all right, that's it. We've gone through a lot. Oh my gosh, we went through a lot here today, y'all. I know it was quick. Luckily, it's a podcast. It's a YouTube show. You can go through, rewind it, pause it, get everything in there, get all the information, get all the picks. See if you agree with me. maybe you don't, but if you agree, put those picks in. Let's make some money. I'm excited. Bet responsibly. Thank you for listening to The Hedge, as always. I don't like not having someone to say goodbye to with me, but to the listeners, goodbye. Thank you for joining me, and I will see y'all next week.